Hi everyone. Okay, let's do snack bag book number 9 for the month of September. I need to take my page out. Okay, we're going to be working on this side today. And I'm going to cut this open again, similar to, well, exactly the way we cut it before, but I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to cut under here. You guys will remember what I did the last time. I'm doing the exact same thing. Just cutting cutting this flap open. So I'm just making a little cut here, one on each side on the top part of the bag there. Okay. Then I'm gonna open this up a little bit so that I only cut one layer, and I'm gonna cut this part off right here. There we go. Okay, so we've got the beginnings of getting this separated. Okay, and now we move over to the diagonal line here that goes up to the corner of the bag. And that's just one layer we're cutting. We're not cutting through to the back side, okay? You just snip that right to the corner and do the same thing on this side. And cut this one to the corner as well. So that is what opens it up completely. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pocket, but in addition to this being a pocket, I'm going to actually fold the top back like this so that it has a little flap, like the pocket has folded down, so things will be able to go in here. Okay. So you'll have to have small embellishments because you're only going to have this much width to play with if you do this same thing that I'm doing here. So before I glue any of this down, I want to make sure that I have this side covered because once it's glued down, it'll be harder to work around getting all that covered. So I'm going to kind of draw myself just a little bit of a penciled in line so that I can see where that I put it past where the angle, where that diagonal is going to be, just so I know that I'm going to come up to, well, it's actually almost the exact same line as where I cut, but it will come up just a bit more than that. You can see that it comes up just a bit more. And you can fold that all the way back if you want, like, you know, further back like this, but I actually like the way it looks like that. It looks more like a little flap that's just been kind of casually tipped backwards. So anyway, that's what I'm doing on mine. But I want to get this background covered, and I don't have to go too far back. I do have to have a little bit of this covered back here because this area will show. So what I thought I would use is some playing cards that I found recently. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. The prompt for this month is feathers. And I think feathers are fun. I'm going to show you some feathers that I made out of some white cardstock, and I'll show you how you can make some if you'd like to do this for your book. You don't have to do this. You can find pictures of feathers or an actual feather and put it on your page, whatever you want to, however you want to interpret the prompt. As always, you can do that. But I am going to show you how I did some, but I'm going to get this background excuse me, done first. I found some playing cards at the Dollar Tree back months and months ago, maybe even a year ago now, and they have feathers on them, and I loved the look of that, the feathers and the colors. Just really spoke to me, so I grabbed a deck of those. And to put these down on the background here, what I did was I peeled these the top layer off of this card. I just peeled it back, and I'm probably going to have to do another one to make sure that I get enough on here to cover. All I need really is that, and then I need a little bit here and a little bit here. So let's see. Maybe I'll keep this one to the top and do the piecing at the bottom. Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, but I tore them apart because it's just so much thinner and easier to work with. You're not putting a heavy, thick playing card on your page that way. So you see what I'm doing? I'm just peeling back the back piece of or the actual playing side, and I'm taking the cover and I'm just kind of separating the two. So this is the back of the card, and I'm just peeling it off, just like that. All right, and these I'll keep. These can be torn up and used in collage and all kinds of fun things, so don't toss them. Now, I can probably put this together right here, and it won't be too strange. There is two little dark colored feathers there, but I don't think it's too much of a problem, really. Let's see. You know what? I might cut this off straight so I can get rid of that curved edge. I think that's going to help me. Okay, so I think I have everything cut down about right. Trimmed off some edges, and then I cut one card. This card I cut in half this way, and I'm moving a piece of that down here to cover the bottom, and then this little piece up here so that when the pocket is closed and glued down, then all of that background is covered. The next thing I'm going to do is cover the front side of this pocket. I found a couple of things with some feathers on them, printed on them already, which I thought was really exciting, especially because they matched what I already had with the playing cards. That's like crazy. These are the kind of things that I feel like are meant to be. Like when I'm thumbing through just a bunch of stuff that doesn't go together and it ends up all going together, I think it's a sign. Anyway, I cut this card down. It's just like a little tag, very lightweight cardstock. Anyway, I cut it down so that it will fit just inside the measurement of the front of this pocket. And now from here, I need to cut off this triangular part because there's no need to have this extra piece bulky in there where the fold is going to be. So I'm going to get this in place. Got to hold it still. And then I'm going to fold it back just like that. That gives me the line where the fold is. Okay, and then because I have it inset just a little bit, I'm going to trim it just a little bit past that fold. So this is just really for decoration, although I might want to add a little word or something here on the front. And then I also need a piece of something to cover here, and I found a little piece of scrap paper in my scraps, and it's pink and white striped. I thought that would look really cute on the triangle. It just ties in real nicely. So I'm gonna move this for now. That one's ready to be glued on, and then this one needs to be cut to fit. So I'm going to open up the flap, and this is why I haven't glued the pocket down yet, because this way I can kind of see where the fold is, and I can kind of fold it back myself to right where I want to cut it. So I know that it's going to fit on that triangular piece there. Hard to see that line. Let's go this way. Here we go. All right, let's see. Yep, I need need to take a little bit more off. I'm also setting this just a little bit inside, so you can see some of the paper bag around these bits here on the pocket. Okay, so, all right, this end needs to be trimmed down some more. It's just a, you know, trial and error sort of thing, and y'all know we don't go for perfect, so as long as it fits on there, I'm happy with it, even if it's not, you know, perfectly straight or whatever. Okay, now I've got it where it pretty much fits. Now I've got to give it a little bit of that brown, trim it so that the brown bag will show. Along the top there. Trim a little bit of this piece, this side off now, just to make it hopefully work. There we go. That's pretty good. The bag is so, you know, these bags are so imperfect, that's why it's hard to get a, there's nothing square about them. They're all off because they're paper bags. There we go. That's good enough for me. Slide it. Doesn't want to slide. The struggle is real. Okay, there we go. Now we have the decoration on the pocket, and so now the pocket can be attached here. Because this is glossy from the playing cards, I was going to use some glue, and I still may. I'm going to try the Fabrifix glue and see if that will work. Sometimes if you use tape, double-sided tape, and you glue your pocket down, when you go to put things inside, they stick. They can touch the tapes. So I'd really rather not do that. And I'm gonna try the Fabrifix, see if that works. I think it'll be just fine. So I'm going to put the glue directly on the back of the pocket. I think I'll glue this little flap here too, just get that closed down and out of the way and not sticking up anywhere. Okay. If you get any excess glue, if you're doing what I'm doing right now, if you get any excess glue at all, make sure you get that up, because once you close your pocket, that could glue down and close up your pocket, so don't get any excess there. All right, I'm just going to stay right close to the edge so that I don't lose a lot of room inside my pocket, because this is a narrow one as it is. And then you also have to take into consideration that your bag could be a little crooked, because that's how bags are, and so some of that might go over the edge. So just, you know, stay as close as you can, but try to, this edge would be fine to stay close. This edge, you know, tends to run down and, you know, stick out just a little bit here. So anyway, we got our pocket closed right there. All right, we'll let that dry. I think it's going to hold pretty good, but we'll test it out in a minute and be sure that it is. Okay. Now we'll also glue this little flap down so that it stays put. And for that, I can use a little bit of tape, double-sided tape. So just going to get a little piece of this double-sided tape here and put it there. I'm not going to stick it down yet, just in case I decide I want to add something else and I need to be able to access the back. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. But we will eventually stick it down. Okay, so how's this looking? Well, it came up, but it could still be wet, so I'm going to leave it alone for a minute. Okay, we'll let that sit and dry, and I'll show you the feathers that I made. Okay. And I made these several months ago when I was thinking I might do this for a snack bag book page, and I've honestly almost forgotten how I did them, but I think I can I think I can remember and do something similar again. But these are just made, like I said, with cardstock, and I painted them and doodled on them, and I just think they're adorable. These three, I think, are small enough that they will fit in the pocket of my page over here. I mean, I know that they're small enough width-wise. This one might be a little tall, but I think it might go in there. Let's see. I want to stick something else in there first to make sure that, what do I have? Oh, a ruler. Just make sure that nothing is glued together in there. And yeah, I think everything's good. There's a little bit of excess bag bits in there. Sometimes it's hard to work things in, but there we go. So it might stick up just a little bit, but that's not a problem really. It's kind of like the other little tags and bits that stick out. So I might keep that one in there too. But I thought I would stick these in, and like I said, maybe some, maybe all, I don't know. But this one is, of course, too big. This one's very large. So I thought I would make another one, but small, and I'll do it in these colors in case I want to put it in this bag, because there is some green, turquoisey kind of colors on this page. So let me let this sit up here, and I'll set these up here just so I can look at them while I'm while I'm trying to create this one for you. Okay, so I've just sketched out a little feather shape. Okay, it's just basically like a leaf. Okay, but tall, you know, with a long stem, and there'll be little areas that you want to cut out so that it looks like the feather is separating. And and you do those at an angle and kind of curve them just a little bit. Don't cut straight into the side. It won't look natural. If you cut a little curve in it, it will look natural. If you want to draw those in where you think you might want to put some, you can do that. But it's not necessary. You can just freehand, you know, randomly cut some. And you can make these some wide and some skinny. Like you can see here, I made like a wide area here. And then over here, there's some that are smaller, you know. So it gives it a random look, like the feather is just kind of doing its own thing and it wasn't planned out. So I'm going to do one more over here. And you just make a little triangular indentation, sort of like, anyway, that's the way that looks. Okay, and then I'll do maybe a couple over here, and one, maybe I'll put one more up here too, and I'll put one more down here, make a little bit wider maybe. So that's what I have so far. I'm sorry this is a little light for you to see. I tried to do these a little darker. Now, most of the time you'll see feathers have this little fluff stuff at the bottom. So I randomly cut this stuff. They're all different. Each one is different because I just randomly cut around to leave some little tiny bits. You can draw that on if you want. It's just right down here at the base of the feather, so you can just, you know, make some little squiggly type lines and cut those so they look like this, and they're very fiddly, okay? And it's not the easiest part, but it can be done. All right, so I'm going to just leave that for now. I may not even see those lines up there that I made once I'm done with the paint. But here's what I did. Get a fresh piece of paper here. I took the lighter color. I'm going to use two, just like similar to what I used here, okay? So we've got lighter and a darker shade. So I'm going to take the light one, and I'm just going to put a little bit out on this little piece of deli paper here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the darker one. Okay, and I'm going to scoot these back. I don't want any paint to get in on things it doesn't belong on. Now, I need a brush, so I'm just going to use this brush, and I'm just dampening it a little bit so that it's not so dry. Okay, and then I'm going to take the green, and this, like I said, take your lighter color, whatever color you're doing, and just coat the whole feather. Okay, not the stem at the bottom, the quill part, if you want to call it that, of the feather, but just all of the leaf shape, let's call it. Okay, and it doesn't matter about going outside of the line because you're going to be cutting this out. So there we got the first coat on the leaf, and you can still see the pencil line, so that's good. At least for now, that's good. You don't have to dry that. I'm grabbing my little book that I'm altering and just throwing in the excess paint just to use it, and so it doesn't go to waste. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm not rinsing it because it's just a similar color family. So, alright, I'm going to keep the paint a little bit thicker for this application. This was very thin, and this is going to be a little thicker, and I'll show you why. Okay, I'm going to go just about halfway up, maybe a third of the way up. Okay, and I'm just laying that on there pretty thick. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of lightly paint the little fluff area, but not the stem. Okay. All right, so while this paint is thick and wet, what I did was I found a comb. And actually this stupid little comb was on top of an ink pen. I have no idea where it came from. It was some kind of novelty thing. But I just went in the same direction. Like you can see that these feathers are, they kind of, the hairs are kind of going curved upward like that. So I took the comb and I judged about where the middle was. I don't have the center line drawn, but with the stem here it's easy enough to tell. And I just placed the comb there and then just scooped upwards, okay? I'm going to wipe it off on this book. All right, and then I'm going to go here to the other side. You can leave a little tiny gap if you want, and then I swiped it up, going up the other way. So this is what it looks like. Okay, and it looks like the feathers are separating, you know, the little hairs, whatever you want to call them, the little feathery bits. So I'm going to try to change the placement of the teeth of the comb, and I'm going to do it one more time in each direction just to give it a little bit more of that look, so they're not quite so far apart. Okay, see there? So that's how I did my feather. Now I'm going to dry it and cut it out, and I'll show you how it ends up looking after I get this paint used up over here. As I'm cutting along the outside edge, I also kind of wiggle my scissors a little bit just to give it the impression of an uneven edge. And I'm just cutting out those little curvy triangle bits to make the opening of the where the feather is separating on the edges. Now these down here, see, got obliterated because of the darker paint, but that's okay. We can randomly put them wherever we want to. And I'm just going to go ahead and do one here. Curve it in. And then I'm going to cut around the feather edge a little bit more. Kind of jaggedy, zigzaggy, kind of uneven. And then I can come back, see where that one is, and I can do another round snip to cut that out. So there we have the one side of the feather cut. Okay. Once you get down here, it's a little more fiddly. Because I painted it fairly lightly, I can still see some of the bits, and I may not stay on my lines completely, but I'll still be able to cut some of those little bits. I wanted to go ahead and cut this edge over here so I can kind of see a little bit. Doing a little uneven edge. I think I'm going to add one more little snip up here. I just feel like it looks a little bit like there wasn't enough on that side. Oh yeah, I like that better. Okay. Now typically what I'll do is turn it over and score it. On where the stem goes up the middle of the feather, and that's because it's a three-dimensional thing. The stem is a three-dimensional thing, and so I don't go all the way to the very tip, but almost to the top there. And so I just run the embossing tool. You can use the point of a bone folder, anything you've got that you can press a line into the back. If you want to draw it first, like sketch it out so that you know exactly where you want this line to be placed, that's a good idea. So you can see I didn't I didn't go all the way to the top. All right, so I'm going to take the embossing tool now and then just press all the way down. And I've got a little soft mat like a mouse pad underneath here. And then I'm going to do it one more time to give it a nice deep impression. But don't push too hard because you can tear it. You can cut it right down into it. Okay, now I do the same thing on the stem itself down at the end. Press on it just to give it a little rounded edge, a rounded top. Okay, so then when you turn it over, you can see that it is, you can see that it's embossed. I don't know if you can see if I can hit the light just right, but it's definitely embossed and you can feel it. I think you can see it there, yeah. It's raised. So now you know where to take a white pen or some white paint and draw that in. I'm going to use a Posca pen and just draw that, color in the stem area. Just the top of it. And it gets a little bit thinner as it gets to the top. So I'm going to do the bottom a little bit heavier, go over it just a little, widen it a little bit at the bottom. Just a tad. Okay. There we go. You can do it down here too if you want. It's just that it's already white down here, so it's not really necessary. Okay, so now we've got this much done. Okay, so I'm going to draw this Posca pen, and then I'm going to come back with that same Posca pen, and I'm going to make the lines on the top half of the feather. Okay, so I'm going to go in the same direction, kind of swooping upwards, just like I did with the comb down here. And down here where it's not complete, I'm going to just go down here with the white. And I'm doing this lightly. I'm not trying to make it too thick or too heavy. And when you get to the top, they'll kind of start going the other direction. This does not have to be perfect, just like everything else we do. This is just do it randomly, and then when you step back and look at it later, you'll see that it didn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect because, a feather is not perfect. It is what it is. All right. So I'm going to set this back on the black mat again so I can show you. I think it shows up better there on the black. So at least I hoped it did. I think the black might be fooling the camera. Maybe I'll, let me see. Let's do it on this white piece. There we go. So you can see the greens, you can see the white, and you feel like you have a completed feather. And that's all I did. It was fun to me, I think, just being able to create that out of a piece of cardstock. That was just a lot of fun. So, all right. So this one I will be able to put in my little pocket because it'll be the right size. The other one I'll save and use in an art journal or something like that maybe sometime. Okay. So I'm gonna let that dry. That's very similar to this one. It's just the small version. Okay, let's see how our page did, if it dried and stayed put. Well, it does want to pop off of mine because of that glossy surface. I'm sure that's what that's about. The bottom kind of stuck pretty well. Yep, the bottom stuck pretty well. So maybe if I just use more glue, maybe I didn't have enough. We'll try it again. See what happens here. Where am I? Down here. There we go. Maybe I just didn't have it wet enough. Not enough, maybe. Okay. That ought to work. All right, let's see if it does. Put a little bit of a clothespin there maybe to help hold it down. Hold it still anyway. I had another one of these little tags and had one little white feather at the bottom, so I trimmed it down and wrote a little poem that I found online on this card. And it's a poem by Anita Sams, and I looked her up, and she is a nature artist. And she says, "Let me be as a feather, strong with purpose, yet light at heart, able to bend. And though I might become frayed, able to pull myself together again." I just thought that was a beautiful poem to go, especially with the feather page. So I'm gonna, once this is dry, I think I'll be able to slip that down inside with my feathers, and that's the way I'm going to finish up my page. You can see too that you can doodle on these and just, you know, do whatever you want. I've made little circles, added some black down here, just dots and zigzags, and you can do whatever you want, or just simply find some cool images of feathers that you like the playing cards. Speaking of the playing cards, I wanted to quickly put together another a tag for my bird page. On this side, I wanted to be able to have a tag in here, in this pocket, to go along with this page. So I'm going to use another one of these little playing cards, and I've got a scrap that I'm going to cover the back side with. And for this, I am just going to use some tape. So now the back of the card's covered, and I love this beautiful side here. So what I'm going to do is something very simple. I'm going to take a little bit of washi tape and put it across the bottom here, just because it's so pretty having that black, that pop of black there. And I'm going to trim that off. Whoops. Okay. And I have a little bird that had already been stamped and colored, and it was sitting in my little, you know, my little box of goodies that I find things in, that I throw little things in. I'm going to set this bird right here, maybe right on the top edge, near the top edge there. And I'm going to glue him in place. And then I was going to put a little phrase on that I found that I thought was so cute. It says, "Hold tight and pretend it's a plan." But I'm going to just take the "pretend it's a plan" part of that quote. I think that's funny. That's me. I fly by the seat of my pants so often that I think it's pretty funny that I pretend it's a plan often. I kind of thought I would like to have the quote on the tape, on the black tape. That is very cute, but since this is going to be kind of open up here, maybe it would look better there. Probably more balanced, and then I'll outline it, and that'll make some black up there, pull the black upwards. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll just leave it at the top. Pretend it's a plan. I'm going to use this same glue and hope it sticks to the glossy surface well. I think it will. As long as there's enough on there, I think that there won't be a problem at all. Oops, upside down will not work. Okay, let's see if we can get it here in the middle-ish. pretty good. I might as well just use the same glue while it's out and put it on my bird. Okay. He's just so cute, and he's been sitting in that box for a long, long time. It needs to be used. So I'm going to use it today. And then I'll be able to enjoy it because I can flip through my book and see all the little things that I've been having stuffed in a box for way too long. And I think that is just an adorable little tag, little card to put inside the bag. Let's take some black and outline that word. Ooh, I don't know if the Posca pen is going to like this shiny surface, but we'll see. It should do okay. Actually, the more I think about it. Yep, it seems to be doing all right. I can see it's drying. Okay. Okay, that's so cute. Look how quickly that came together. A playing card and a little stamped image and a piece of washi tape. Come on, that is easy. I love that. I love simple, easy things. Okay, so I'm not going to put this in yet because I do want to make sure to wait and let it dry, but that's going to scoot inside here just to kind of go along with this page. And my other page, let's see. Oh, yeah, it's nice and snug now. I guess I just didn't have enough glue before. Perfect. Let's see if my poem there will slide down in. Yep. It is. It's getting stuck on paper bag bits down in there, though, I think. Let's see. There's so many little areas. I should have probably taped all of that down. So before you close up your pocket, if there's areas of the bag that are sticking up, you might want to just put some transparent tape or something on there just to kind of hold down all of those folds and flaps and things, because it does kind of get in the way sometimes of tucking things down inside your pocket there. So let's see if we can tuck in a couple of feathers to stick out a little bit and look colorful. Come on, here we go. Those are cute. I mean, that just looks really sweet. Okay, and then I still need to go ahead and I think I'm going to just go ahead and stick it down, and if I want to add anything up here, I can just stick it on top. I won't have to access the back, I don't think. Come on, paper. There we go. That's it. Okay. That's stuck down. And I had a little stamped die-cut feather, but he's a little big to put anywhere. I might be able to put it there, but I think it takes away from the little background, so I'll probably leave that out. But I think that's adorable, having all the little feathers tucked in there, and then the little poem. I think that's neat. And I wanted to put a word here, like maybe free. That would be kind of cool. Although I don't know how well it's going to stamp here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work, I'll cover it up. I'll stamp it again on something else and just glue it down over the top. I do want to take the feathers out before I stamp, though, because they are a little bit lumpy. There we go. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp. Stamp it there. Yay! Worked. It worked. Okay, and now I'm going to take see, where's my Micron? There it is. Just take my Micron pen and I'm gonna make a little box around the word. Okay. Love it. All right, so there we go, guys. That's my feathers page, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have fun creating your feather page. And I'm going to tuck this in, and we'll see how it looks next to the bird page from last month. Oh, that's so cute. That looks great together. All right, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you create, and we will see you again for the next video. I got a little sidetracked. My brain went kind of crazy because I realized, you know, I want to put a little bit of border around this because it needs to be grounded. It just looks like it's kind of floating there, and I just want to ground it a little bit. There we go. That looks so much better to me. Can you tell the difference? Yeah. This looks a whole lot better. I think I'm going to make a little signpost out of this word too, because it looks like it could be a little sign sticking in the ground. There we go. Okay, so my glue still didn't stick down very well to the glossy surface of the card. So I'm going to use E6000 because I know that will stick to everything or anything. But while I had this pulled back, I am going to put some tape on. These are the areas I was talking about in your bag. You've got areas like this when you're trying to slide a tag down inside. They're getting stuck on all of the loose bits. So I'm going to put some tape over these just to hold them down and make sure that they stay put. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.